Let's get more on all this. Kevin Matthews from George Mason University joins me in our Washington studio. He's an assistant professor of European history. Professor, welcome to our program.
Thank you.
So if you had to guess, how do you think all this is playing out in the Trump administration, in the White House, considering how critical President Trump was of Theresa May and her Brexit strategy?
Oh, Donald Trump fancies himself as the leader of a world populist movement, so he's solidly behind Brexit. But if anybody in the UK thinks that they're going to get favorable trade deals from the United States from issues since Margaret Thatcher's days, and they haven't found a way out of it, and now they've turned it into a national crisis. When David Cameron called the referendum, his media director, Craig Oliver, asked him if there was one good reason why he should not call this referendum. And Cameron said, "Because you might unleash demons of which ye know not." And little did he know what he's done.
One thing that seems to be certain in this mess is that there will be a general election. How is this all going to play out? When are we going to see a general election? What does this mean for the embattled Prime Minister Theresa May, who had said, if you pass my deal, I'm going to resign? So she stays on for now, it looks like.
She stays on for now, but whether or not she can lead the Conservatives into a general election is an entirely different question. They want her out. The only thing she promised was that she would go if her deal was passed. Well, it hasn't been passed. And if they have a general election, are they going to have a Tory leadership contest first? Labour is in much the same way. It's in trouble because it's split from top to bottom. Jeremy Corbyn is a closeted Brexiteer. He wants to take the UK out.
Let me ask you a question about him, because he has really ripped into Theresa May about how, I mean, he didn't like no Brexit deal. He doesn't like Theresa May's deal. Apparently, none of the 8 alternative options that were being discussed earlier this week, none of them got a majority vote. Did Jeremy Corbyn, the opposition leader, ever put up his own proposal to say, this is my plan?
He's put up a proposal. It was one of the proposals that was debated on Monday, was a Labour proposition, but it didn't get very much support. He wants to keep Britain in a customs union. The problem with that is it kind of defeats the purpose of Brexit. Why just be in a customs union where you can't help make the rules or don't have a voice in how the EU is going to be run when you could be a full-fledged member? The UK is in a very good position right now, but no government. Oh, sure it was. It is a member of the EU? Sure it was. Because the UK has carved out a number of opt-outs. That it's painfully negotiated over the years. It is not subject to EU rules on labor regulations, for instance. Most importantly, it's not subject to EU rules on the monetary union. It doesn't have the euro, it has the pound. And there are some people who seem to think that if they can just crash out of the EU, see how it goes, and if they don't like it, they can come back in and have the same unique position. That's not going to happen. It can't happen because the EU treaties for membership will not allow it to happen. And so what they're going to find is this: if they crash out of the EU, they're going to find that that unique position cannot be gotten back. It's a little like virginity. Once you lose it, it's gone for good.
All right, interesting analysis there. Professor Kevin Matthews from George Mason University. Thank you, sir. Thank you so much.